I rise to express my deep concern about the Trump administration's ongoing military operations in the Caribbean, and to voice my strong support for the War Powers Resolution introduced by Senators Schiff, Kaine, Wyden, and Sanders. Over the past month, the United States has carried out 4 lethal strikes on boats in the Caribbean, reportedly killing 21 individuals. These attacks have been retroactively explained by the President's unilateral declaration that the United States is in, quote, armed conflict with unnamed, quote, non-state armed groups throughout the Western Hemisphere. He has deployed thousands of U.S. forces, ships, and aircraft to conduct these operations, all without congressional authorization and without any credible explanation to the American people. Let me be clear. The drug cartels that traffic poison across our borders are violent and reprehensible. They have devastated families and communities across our country. And we must do everything in our power through law enforcement, intelligence, and international cooperation to bring these organizations down. But that is not what this is all about. These are not police actions or defensive operations. These are targeted, lethal military strikes using weapons designed for warfare, not interdiction or law enforcement. The administration has offered no positive identification of those killed, nor any information linking the boat crews to cartels. In fact, they have not proven that these vessels were engaged in drug trafficking, nor even that they were destined for the United States. I would note that even if this evidence had been provided, that would only justify interdiction by law enforcement, not lethal military strikes. The justification thus far has relied entirely on the President's word, and that's not good enough. Our Constitution does not vest the power to wage war on one man's word. The White House has claimed that these strikes are allowable under the President's Article II powers as Commander-in-Chief. But Article II is not a blank check. The framers of our Constitution deliberately separated the powers of war and peace between the branches. As James Madison warned, quote, "The executive is the branch most prone to war. Therefore, the Constitution has, with studied care, vested that power in the legislature." The War Powers Resolution exists for moments like this. It ensures that before we send American forces into hostilities, the people's representatives have debated and voted on the decision. It ensures accountability. It ensures legitimacy. If we allow these unauthorized operations to continue unchecked, we will have surrendered Congress's most solemn constitutional duty. We will have set the precedent that the President, any President, may initiate military action at will, without oversight, without transparency, and without the consent of the governed. Mr. President, we have seen this pattern before. Over the past several years, this administration has repeatedly tested the limits of executive power, ordering strikes in Iran and Yemen and now the Caribbean, while refusing to even a brief consultation with Congress. Each time, the lines blur a little further. Each time, the balance of power tilts a little more toward the executive. This body, the United States Senate, cannot afford to shrug and move on. The slow erosion of congressional oversight is not an abstract debate about process. It is a real and present threat to our democracy. The War Powers Resolution before us does not tie the President's hands in responding to genuine threats. It simply requires him to do what every Commander-in-Chief should: come to Congress, present the facts, and seek authorization from the people's representatives before initiating hostilities. That is not weakness. that is constitutional strength. It's the principle that has guided our republic for nearly 2.5 centuries. And finally, I would say this. Even setting aside the constitutional questions, this campaign is deeply unwise. The notion that we can bomb our way out of a drug trafficking crisis is not strategy, it's wishful thinking. Using the U.S. military to conduct unchecked strikes in the Caribbean risks destabilizing the region, provoking confrontation with neighboring governments, and drawing our forces into yet another open-ended conflict without a clear mission or exit strategy. Mr. President, conflict in the Caribbean or with Venezuela is entirely avoidable, but the risk that we stumble into war because of one man's impulsive decision-making has never been higher. Our troops deserve better, much better. This war powers resolution would restore the balance. It reaffirms that the Constitution has always required that decisions of war and peace belong to the legislature, not the executive. For that reason, I urge my colleagues to support this resolution and to reassert the fundamental role of Congress in matters of war.